This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league. If you miss any of our guest interviews, you can always catch those wherever you get your podcasts. Big 12 Radio. We podcast on Apple, Spotify, right here on TuneIn, on demand. We are streaming on your screen at Big 12 Studios, the Big 12 Fast channel. Big 12 Radio is brought to you, the full-time fan, by Modelo. He is Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. And yesterday, we started our Big 12 Today, Big 12 Radio yearly awards. And it continues today. I just tabbed over to see what we did yesterday, and it's totally blank, so it's not there. I can't remember. But today, I know what we're doing. We are doing Best General Manager, Offensive Lineman of the Year, Best Assistant Coach, Offensive Newcomer of the Year, and Defensive Newcomer of the Year here on Big 12 Radio. So, Ari, kick us off. Who is the General Manager of the Year in the Big 12?
So here's my question to you. Are we going to have any ones that are different from one another, do we think?
I'm thinking probably not, but you never know. There could be a dark horse candidate somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, but I think this one is maybe the most obvious, the most visible general manager in the Big 12, also the best general manager in the Big 12 in 2025, 2026. That would be the Texas Tech general manager, James Blanchard, who famously, along with Cody Campbell and Joey McGuire, put together an incredible roster. When you look at the ways in which this team has dramatically improved year over year, it's obvious the talent was the threshold of talent was raised significantly. And it's funny because David Bailey ended up being the cherry on top because Bailey was not going to be a part of this team. Right. Torrey Taylor gets fired at Stanford. You think about the role that Torrey Taylor's firing meant for the Big 12 with Bear Bachmeier and David Bailey. That was huge for both of those guys in this league. But, yeah, I think being the architect of the most aggressive roster build that we've seen in this new Big 12, 22 transfer portal additions, 11 of those 22 started in the Big 12 championship game, and then 4 of those newcomers earned first-team All-Big 12 honors. So there's no question the best general manager in the Big 12 this year was James Blanchard.
Yeah, he turned Texas Tech, and I mean this in the best way, he built a bully. Their roster overhaul hit everywhere. Edge rushers, defensive backs, some at the skill positions. He's a portal assassin. He got difference makers that fit within their scheme. They didn't just go over guys, go after guys based off of their star rating. He is the architect and the mastermind behind it all. And McGuire's vision works because of James Blanchard and what he's able to do. And every team in the Big 12, every program, should have a general manager. Maybe they're not all James Blanchard, but it is a position now. And we're seeing more of these roles added in the Big 12 Conference. Teams need a GM in today's era of college football, somebody that is scouting and evaluating talent as a full-time job. They don't coach. They just go get dudes to better the roster.
Yeah, and really you need a GM with an entire scouting and personnel department. You need, you look at the NFL, and, they've got advanced scouts that are scouting games ahead, teams they're going to be playing. You've got, scouts that are college scouts that are looking at the college ranks. I think you need an entire scouting department. And, yeah, you may not have a GM in name across the country. There's tons of different general managers that have different titles, but I think it's obvious and becoming clear that you need some sort of a personnel department and somebody to head that up. And James Blanchard has been incredible at it. In fact, I've been working this week to try to get him on the show.
All right, Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year here on Big 12 Today. Who's your Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year? One dude.
Spencer Fano. Also the guy you have. Yeah, 0 sacks allowed, 8 total pressures on 294 pass blocking snaps. Anchor of a line that powered a top 10 national offense, a 10-2 record. They had the best rushing offense in the Big 12 this year between Devin Dampier and Wayshawn Parker. Also the 2025 Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. So no surprises here. This was funny enough. If we had done this before the season started, I don't know that these answers would have been much different.
Yeah, that's a really good point. These guys balled out that were supposed to ball out, and he's going to be a top 10 NFL draft pick. He's projected as a Tier 3 above average NFL starter for the next decade. He is an elite zone blocker. He's got a high floor as a pass blocker. NFL scouts love this guy, and they should. He's 6'6", runs like a deer, over 300 pounds. He was the third highest graded offensive lineman in the country, according to our good buddy Cam Meller over at PFSN 365. Their chief analytics officer, teams, and NFL scouts are drooling over the Utah offensive lineman. All right, best assistant coach. Maybe we go different here.
Texas Tech defensive coordinator Shieldwood.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, again, these are pretty obvious here. Some of these numbers year over year are incredible to look at. In 2024, Texas Tech was in the bottom half of the Big 12 on third down. They're now top 5 nationally in third down defense. In 2024, this was a team that struggled to create negative plays in the red zone. In fact, their red zone defense was atrocious last year. They're number 1 in FBS stop rate, largely fueled by their red zone denial. Tech went from I hope this goes well defense to they know where the ball is going before the snap. This is a combination of the players they brought in through the portal and the players they already had, and then a brilliant defensive-minded coach in Shieldwood who brought it all together. This is the perfect storm of talent that they had in Rodriguez and Roberts, talent they brought in to solidify that front seven, which was waning along the defensive line, and then the right defensive-minded coach that brought out the best in these guys. I mean, David Bailey, not only did he get paid, but he was put in a great situation where he's in that true wide 9 stance. So, all he's doing is firing off the ball. Very simple. David Bailey, go get the quarterback. That's it. That's all they're asking him to do. Lee Hunter, instead of being a 2-gap guy that has to eat blockers, they put him a shade over, and now he's a 1-gap guy, way more effective. And then Romello Height, I think, him being more of a hybrid, not a read and react linebacker, more of an attacking linebacker. Just a good example of, it's not just the fact that they brought in some great talent, which they did. It's that they assigned those guys the right roles that would leverage them into their best abilities.
And we knew Shieldwood was one of the top coordinators in the Big 12, which is why, he was one of the best coordinators last year, totally overhauling and flipping the script on that Houston defense, and he's done it again at Texas Tech. I would go 1B, the offensive coordinator at BYU, Aaron Roderick, to keep that offense humming with a freshman quarterback. I think that they probably had to simplify the playbook at the start of the year to ease him into things. I just think how he managed that entire offense was really well done. So he would be my 1B.
1B for me would be Danny Gonzalez, the defensive coordinator for Arizona. When you look at what their defense was last year comparatively year over year, the dramatic improvement that they saw, turnovers, aggression. I thought really long and hard about giving this to Danny Gonzalez, but it was just so obvious you had to give it to Shieldwood.
Yeah. All right, offensive newcomer of the year and defensive newcomer of the year. Who's your offensive newcomer of the year?
Okay, so I'm assuming we're going to have the same defensive newcomer of the year. The only question here is, do we have the same offensive newcomer of the year? And my offensive newcomer of the year is Devin Dampier, the quarterback for Utah. You also have him?
Same.
Yeah. Again, there's just not much in terms of differentiation we can have amongst this group. Maybe we should come up with we should do day 3 of Big 12 awards and come up with some really off-the-wall awards that will have us talking across the league a little bit better. But, I think Devin Dampier was even better than I thought he was going to be. I looked for some of the potential reasons for the pitfalls. And, can he be consistent throwing the football, especially when teams force them to have to run or force them out of the run? But he was phenomenal. I thought, to lead a team to 10-2, the yardage that he threw for, he limited his interceptions. That was the big thing coming into the season. He was, close to a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio before coming to Utah. He was significantly better in that. His touchdown numbers were incredible. He ranked top 10 nationally in QBR. So, Devin Dampier, the offensive newcomer of the year in the Big 12.
Yeah, his passing efficiency, his QBR, like you said, was really good. And that was the big question mark coming into the season. He had 12 touchdowns and 12 interceptions at New Mexico last year. This year, 22 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. He stayed within himself. He was also explosive on the ground. I do think there are some honorable mentions when it comes to newcomer of the year. Amari Thomas, the wide receiver at Houston, led the league with 10 touchdowns, finished with almost 1,000 yards on the season. He's a UAB transfer who transferred to Houston and had a really nice year. When it comes to, Emmanuel Henderson had a nice year at receiver, but when it comes to like
Bear
quarterbacks,
Bachmeier?
Yep, Bear was the other one. Bear Bachmeier, Connor Wegman, I think, would be in the conversation. There's like a pool of guys that were still really strong, newcomer-wise, but Dampier stood out, no doubt about it.
Dean Connors,
another one.
came over from Rice. He was phenomenal for
Ishmael
them.
Mahdi, running back
Mahdi.
of Arizona.
Yep.
All right, defensive newcomer of the year.
David Bailey. Weird. Can't imagine who else would be in this category. I mean, again, going back to Shield Wood, putting guys in the right situation, the wide 9, just get him going after the quarterback. That's it. And the results are overwhelming. It starts and ends with his ability to rush the passer, and then what that means to the rest of the defensive line, what that opens up with Lee Hunter. Like, it shows when you've got a legit top edge rusher and David Bailey, the impact that has across your defense. I don't think there's any question that David Bailey would be, the top defensive newcomer in the Big 12 this year. He was second in the league in sacks. No, he led the league in sacks.
Yeah, led the league.
Because John Henry Daly was missed the last couple of weeks or last week. So 13 and a half sacks for David Bailey. He had 15 total tackles. He was a monster this year.
And like the other guys in the league that could maybe be candidates for this are all other Texas Tech players. Like Bryce Pollock led the Big 12 in interceptions. He had 5 picks on the year. The guy that led the Big 12 in tackles for loss was John Henry Daly at Utah, and then it was David Bailey, and then Romello Height is the other one I was looking for. Another Texas Tech guy that finished with double-digit tackles for loss and almost double-digit sacks. Like, they're all Tech guys, and just an incredible year that they had. Those are our Big 12 today. Yearly awards. We went through general manager, offensive lineman, assistant coach, offensive and defensive newcomer of the year. Up next, we sit down with Travis Hines from Iowa State, covers Iowa State for the Des Moines Register. We'll talk to him about their new coaching hire, Jimmy Rogers, and, man, the men's basketball team up to number 4 in the AP Top 25. They throttled Purdue over the weekend. Stick with us. It's Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo.